Hello guys, I'm making this video because there's not really like any good tutorials on YouTube that I can find, at least, that teach you how to do 2D Visemes. Yeah, so just as a look, so these are hand-drawn PNG images, and they're not the best, but I really only did them for practice. Maybe someday I'll make them look nicer. But I'll show you how I did them. So if you go over to Unity, you have my little guy over in Unity. And his animator, in 3.0 you have a little effects animator, and that holds pretty much all of your animation data or whatever, all your parameters and stuff for your little 3.0 avatar guy. So this is what a Viseme parameters look like. Like, when you go over here to lip sync mode and it's Viseme parameters. So this is what it looks like. And I know it looks scary, and yes, it's a lot of work, but I'm going to show you really quick how to make it not a whole lot of work. I'm going to try to explain this the best way I can because I make models. I am an artist. I am not a programmer. I'm not this isn't my strong suit. Anything I learn because I ask other people for help, and I'm on my hands and knees and I'm like, please, let me open this up here. So this right here, now say you have like normal lip sync on a character, like on this character I have normal lip sync. So these are all your little values for the visemes, and what visemes are in VRCHAT is it's pre-recorded, pre-done sounds that will automatically animate your mouth movement. If you have blend shapes on a character, it automatically does this. All you gotta do is fill this in, right? So, as all things in games are, things don't start at 1, they start at 0. So there are actually 15 visemes, technically, but you're really only 14 of them visually count. This is good because it's got like a little, it's like a 0. It's completely off. So your mouth is closed, you're not doing anything, right? So I've numbered them all here, and you can like take a screenshot if you want. But from 1 to 14, all the vowels are 10 and above. And this is important because when we go to our effects layer and we make our visemes, that determines, like, oh, how do I do an A? Like like that. What you do is you have your little condition equal the number of the viseme. So hopefully that makes sense. Also, I'm sick, so sorry. I don't want to forget to record this because whenever I put something off, I always like forget to record it. Let's say you have like a character, you want to give him these 2D visemes, these guys, but you don't know where to start. Well, the first thing you could do is you could do what I did and just make crappy ones. It doesn't always have to be perfect when you're practicing something like this. Don't blow all your effort into something that you might not like, or it might not work. Just search up like little lip sync tutorials. Give me 1 second, hold on. So over here you can see it's just transparent PNGs. Now this implies your character has like a little plane for you to put it on. This one does, and I'll show you because that's what the plane looks like. So it's cool to have this little plane right here, so you could just apply a material change. Now there's better ways to do something like that. You can do viseme parameters as a material change, or you can do them as a UV offset, but that's like a whole different video. I might do that. I've never done that myself. It's probably way more optimized than having, like 10 different textures. Another thing is when you're doing these textures, make them smaller. Like these are probably about 1024. They could have been smaller, but as I said, they were quick. They were done quick, and they weren't done well. So let's go down the list here. So these are ones that I've determined that are like important. Vowels are the most important are definitely the most important when it comes to visemes, because they create, the vowels are the glue. They're like the number one thing when it comes to languages, right? And consonants are just like, it's the bread, but vowels are the stuff inside the bread. So if you don't want to do all of the consonants, I recommend you do the vowels. Yeah. So stuff like A, E, I, O, U, those are all good. These are all, of course, also more than just their, it's more than just what they look like. So you have ah. This looks like E, but it's not a long E, it's eh, which is really annoying because this is I. This is I and E, I'm pretty sure. That's really annoying. But then you have ah, which is ah is a nice, it's a nice open, it's kind of like a mix between ah and oo, ah. So, let's keep that in mind. So apart from the vowels, A is not A, it's eh. I don't know, it's really annoying. You'll figure it out. But there's a lot of trial and error, especially when it comes to games and stuff like that. So the next second important things in my mind are I can't do it on here. It's really hard to reproduce a TH sound that the visemes will pick up, but TH is definitely important for a filler. S is definitely important for a filler. And then F. Whatever. It's not picking it up because my mic is kind of bad. But so those are the second most important ones. And then ones that I've done that really help fill in like the rest of the lip sync and make it look nicer is R, N, N, and P. So some of these double as other, as you notice, like we were missing like some of the alphabet here. And some of these double as other sounds, like N will double as L, and P will double as M, or M, and it'll double as B, B. Anything that starts with that B or M, where your lips are sealed, the noise you're making is dependent on your lips being sealed and opening up very quickly. So B, B, B. See that? So hopefully that explains that. So let's go on to the next part. I kind of want to cover like all of my bases so I'm not left with people in the comment section asking questions that I can't really write in text form. So here's my little guy that I made in Blender. He's so cute. Look at him. He's so beautiful. So if you look at his mesh, you can see this is the plane which you put his mouth. So he's got a few materials. He's not the most optimized when it comes to materials, but VRChat's really picky with the amount of materials you put on a character. And so he's got a separate material specifically for his mouth. And in UV editing, his mouth is literally just that. It's just this. It's got the texture. I mean, well, of course you can't see it, but it's got this area of the mesh UV unwrapped, so it's flat enough and you can put your image on it. Blender's a whole nother can of worms. Also, I can't really get into it, but there's that. So it really helps to have a material separate from the rest of the materials on the avatar for a nice, good, easy animation for Unity for the viseme parameter. Please leave. Once you've got everything drawn, and now you animate, you have your silent viseme here, and it's literally just like the smallest transparent image in the world, so it doesn't take up a whole lot of space. This guy is probably about like 1.5 MB, which I encourage you to keep your avatars as small as you can. When it comes to how many megabytes it is, there's no reason your avatar needs to be over 200 megabytes. So you open Unity, you create that animation, right click, I mean, if you're watching this, I assume you know how to use Unity. Like, okay. So you drag that onto your guy, and you open the animation window. And what you do now, you hit record, and this is assuming you've already made like a material with the texture on it that is a cutout PNG, right? Because it's transparent, so you only want the mouth to be visible and not like all this white space. So you just want the mouth. So it's a transparent image with the cutout option enabled on your shader. Use a shader that has that option, but you use a texture, you apply it to that plane. See that? Bam! Right there. And while you press record, when you press record and you apply a material, see that? It updated. It will change to that material. The animation is literally it changing to that material. Don't worry about this. This is like a remnant. This doesn't matter. Cool. Well, now that you have your animation done, all of them done, all of the textures applied to materials and everything on an animation, and you've named them properly according to this viseme chart. Very good. Very organized, very nice. So go into your FX layer for your guy. Go to your parameters. Now, as I said, I'm not a video game developer. I don't know a lot of the different, I don't know what a trigger is. I know what a bool is, that's easy. But the difference between float and integer, I don't know. Because floats, well, I do know in terms of on Unity, but in general in video games, I don't know. But I do know that if you were to choose a float parameter, the conditions that you have are only ever greater or less. You cannot get equals or not equals to on a float parameter. So what you want to pick is an integer, or an int. And now this is very important. You must name it Viseme. You have to name it exactly that with a capital V, because VRCHAT has internal logic for your characters that rely on a specific parameter. I'm just going to name it that for now, okay? I'll delete it later because I already have one working. So let's create a new layer. And remember, name this one Visemes because we're very organized. So what you're going to do, set that weight to 1. So what you're going to do is you're going to create your 0, which is your silent. Your silent up here. So this is the state or the animation that you revert back to when none of these numbers are in use. You got that? So you have your entry into the new state, and then you have an any state. I can't really tell you what the any state does. All I know is that it's not 0. It's the thing that calculates the number. So, are you ready for this? This is the tedious part, okay? So you have your entry into your new state, and your new state is your idle. So you can, if you want to be organized, you can name it idle. Or you can name it silent, right? So, like I said, this is where it gets tedious. Go into your whatever folder you have all your animations in, and then you just click them all, and oh my god, click them all, bam, drag them in. Now look at how beautiful it is when you name things and you organize. I'm only saying this because I am notoriously bad at organizing, not because I want to screw myself over, but because I'm pressed for time. So you have all your guys here, all your animations. So when you drag an animation and it already gets signed in animation, it's named the file of the animation. So name everything correctly. Yes, very good. So here's where it starts going. Very tedious. Ready? You right click your any state, you make a transition. Oh my god, work. Bam, connected. And you keep doing that for all of these. So Remember how I said each of these is assigned a number and a set of values? That's where this part comes in. So silent, this, click on your conditions, make sure you have the correct parameter, right? In this case, it's the one I created specifically for this, equals 0. That is your silent. Okay, easy, right? When nothing else is happening, go back to silent. And when you enter a world, silent is on, right? It's always silent until, right? So now remember this, recall this list, right? This list, this is where your values are. So, right, that is equal to 10. Because on this list, it's the 10th value. So, see, do you get that? It's easy, huh? And you just keep doing that. Keep doing that for all of these guys. So, that's pretty simple. It's tedious. You have to go through each of these and change them according to their value. But now let's say you're like, oh, I don't want a transition duration of 25 on all of these. Like, you could go through and change them all manually if you hate yourself, but what you can do is just shift click all of them. Shift click all of these, right? You can go and right click your little inspector tab to go to debug mode and then just change it to whatever number you want. 1, right? And look, check it out. You go back to normal. Now it's all 1. Crazy. I don't know if there's anything else that I missed. You don't need to enter your viseme thing on the parameter. You don't need to put it on the parameter. You don't need to put it on the expressions menu. I'm not too sure how to disable visemes. Maybe that's like a future video or something like that. But for now, this is just a video. I'll probably update it when I find out how, but it's not in my immediate interest. So there you go. There's the tutorial that I wish I had when I was making this. I hope I made it easier to understand, for you to comprehend more than just this tutorial, like in general when it comes to visemes. Yes. Okay, that's all I have. Thanks.